Let's shift gears, man. I am pumped for today's call. I'm really really excited to have this young lady on and speak with us today. And newly minted key leader, Miss Wendy Cox, went right through, blazed through team leader, and backed it right up again, back to back with key leader promotions over the last few months. And just main thing, I'm just so proud of you in your mentality and your perspective, because there have been plenty of times, and I'm sure you're going to get into that today, where you were in a dark place and challenged and frustrated and ready to quit, or had to be talked off the ledge like a lot. I mean, that's not an uncommon conversation with the most successful people in all of symmetry. And I'm really excited for you to share your story. And when you came to the realization that it was up to you and it was all in you, and to get your own BS out of the way. I love that. And so many people, it's hard for them to want to admit that, right? And then to have that self reflection and to identify their own blind spots, but then to take action and do something about it, that takes a special kind of person. And you are definitely wired the right way, ma'am. I know we talk all the time. And I just want to share with you just honestly how proud of you I am. And just to see your leadership and your example for so many other people on this team, it's something. And the posts that you share on crew and those kinds of things are inspiring to so many people on this team. And I hear so many positive things from folks when I speak to them about your inspiration to them, and just really excited for your progress, your growth, your success that you're having, and then your ability to turn around and share that. I remember, and this is a common thing you've heard me say before in with other people, but there were times when you and I talked, and I said to you, like I said to so many others, Jenny and Allie and Joanna, that hey, you got to go through the suck, right? But there's going to be a time when you're going to have an opportunity to tell a story of what you went through, and it's going to become part of someone else's survival guide. And to see you walking in that right now, and living in your purpose and being that example is exciting. And I'm blessed to get a front row seat to that, ma'am. And just to share with numbers with folks, team leader directly to key leader back to back, as mentioned, in personal production. And you let her tell it, this month she's having a sucky month, right? But this month, $11,790 in APV this month so far. February, $15,217. January, $18,445 in submit APV. Just in personal production, she's recruiting and mentoring, obviously, has enough writers to qualify for key leader, and then putting us up in a position to make a run for agency owner over the next few months as well. In 2023, she was our #2 personal producer in the entire team at $173,852 in APV submit for the year. And a lot of that, and I'm sure she'll get into that, was her being back and forth in her own mental battle of trying to stay focused and struggle and find success. So I'm scared to see what she's going to do when she's locked and loaded, man. She's about to blow the doors off this thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm just going to punt it to you, Wendy. And I'll fill in with any questions if I feel is applicable. But, ma'am, the stage is yours. The mic is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, key leader, Miss Wendy Cox.
Well, you already got me teared up. So, I mean, some of you are probably like, I'm sick of hearing from her, and that's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm okay with that. But the one thing you will always get from me is you're going to get the raw truth, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I used to think that that wasn't a good thing, that I'm genuine to the point that I can't fake stuff. So if I tell you you're awesome, I truly mean it. I am not just saying it. I don't blow smoke. So if I've ever told you how much you mean to me, it is the truth. So from the bottom of my heart. So I'm not sitting here by chance. No one gets here by chance. And if people think that, you couldn't be further from the truth. I remember coming into this business and seeing Jenny, well, she's still on the top of the leaderboard, right? I remember listening to her and thinking, there is no way that I will be able to do something like that. And when I came in, I never thought about building a team. And I've said this before, I just thought I would be a producer. I was just wanting to make some money because, like most of us, we think we're doing good, but we always want to do a little bit more. And you know, this opportunity gives you a chance to dream. But I'm telling you, you're wrong. You can do whatever you want to do. You truly can be whoever you want to be. You just have to figure out what price you're willing to pay. Because the truth of the matter is, this business is not for the faint of the heart. It will either break you or it will build you. And if you choose to allow it to build you and you dig into what Symmetry has built for you with the cornerstones of this company, you will not even recognize yourself. I don't recognize myself. And in full transparency, the two things I want to touch on is how hard this can be, but if you have belief in yourself, what can come out of it. 2 weeks ago, I quit. 2 weeks ago, I quit. I quit myself. I quit this business. I quit my family. And the irony of it is, it was one day after I found out that my numbers were there for key leader. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this. This is hard. I let somebody on the phone break me that day. And we have all had those days, right? But I had this little wolf sitting on my shoulder and saying, you know what, Wendy, just go back to physical therapy. You know what you can make there. It's guaranteed. You don't have to stress anymore. But I also knew if I did that, that I would have to listen to someone tell me what to do. I would have to listen to someone tell me when I could be off. And I realized through the personal growth of this building or this company that there is no way that I could ever go back to that. And Ryan, you know, the man I love more than anything, and we've been through it the last 2 months. He did not give me a hug. He did not tell me it was going to be okay. He said, you mean to tell me you have put our family through all of this stress? You have finally hit these numbers and you're just going to walk away? I said, yeah. He said, no, you're not. And then, you know, through this business and the people that you get to be around, I always talk about a wolf pack. There's so many special signs and meanings behind a wolf pack for me. And we'll talk about that another day. But I had these other little wolves on my shoulder texting me. Hey, Wendy, why aren't you in the main tank? I haven't seen you for 2 days. What's going on with you? Hey, Wendy, how do you feel? What's going on with you? These women that I have developed a relationship with recognized that I wasn't okay for a couple of days. And they reached out to me, and it just meant so much. And so I disconnected from the business for about 3 days. We went away with our kids just to have some time to ourselves and really focus on what I needed to do to move forward and to continue down the path that I set out to do. And also just needed a moment to breathe. As you know, Ryan has cancer, right? And it's a hard word, and it doesn't matter what kind it is, what stage it's in, that word is scary. But we had a great appointment yesterday with a great oncologist, and we have, you know, a few more tests to get a full picture. But for the first time, we left the doctor yesterday and we felt like we could breathe. Like I felt okay. So yes, JP, looking at my numbers, they have not been great. You can kind of see the correlation though, right? When we found out all of this stuff, it just goes to show you mentally what kind of space you have to be in order to succeed here. So came back on Monday, 2 weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? It's time to get out of my own way. And wrote an application that day and protected a family. And just day after day, just digging into the things that we're supposed to do, the personal development, reaching out to people, belief in yourself, just digging every day, trying to get myself back on top. in my mind, feeling like myself again. And more than half of my production for the whole month of March was this week because I finally got out of my own way. When you look at last year, 2023, when I finally got out of my way with the things that I were dealing with mentally, most of my production was the last quarter of the year. So there's no what's the word I'm looking for? There's no secret that if you can mentally be where you need to be and believe in yourself, you can do anything that you want to do here. So I have a little bit more that I want to touch on, but I do want to highlight two people on my team today, both for very different reasons. And their journeys are just a little bit different, but they have been with me. One has been with me since my team really started growing. And funny enough, Michelle was actually a lighthouse lead for me to sell her insurance. And now she's on this team. So I find that I just love that. So I want them to talk a little bit about their journey here, again, with the cornerstones of this company, because this company has outlined a very good way to build your business. And if you're looking for another way, it's not going to happen. And anybody that you reach out to will tell you, look at the cornerstones. Which one of those are lacking for you? And for me, it's always been belief. So that's what I work on daily for myself. But really want to bring Michelle and Terry just to chat a few minutes, a little bit about their journey. Because I think that as long as they continue to believe in themselves, and I don't know if they have 100% belief, but they can borrow my belief in them right now until they believe it themselves, and let them chat for a second. Terry, Michelle, which one wants to go first?
I don't mind. I'll go first.
Good.
Hey guys, Terry Leonard, based in New York, direct to Wendy. I've been here since July of last year. So a little bit of my background, came on board prior to this. I was in digital advertising, some big publishers, and then in the startup world, which was a disaster, and just looking for a change, and happened to come across an ad for a remote sales role. And I was like, what the hell? Let me try it. And had a great conversation with Wendy, and I was like, all right, I'm going to give this a go. Just her attitude and mentality, everything kind of aligned with what I was looking for. The personalities lined up, and started studying. And unfortunately for myself, I was getting ready to take my test, and I ended up in the hospital for a week. That really derailed me as I was getting going, and just kind of completely threw me off. Thankfully, everything's manageable and good for now. So managed to get my test, and then just could not get out of my head getting started. Constantly just doubting myself, second guessing myself. You know, do I call them? Do I email? Do I text? Whatever, just kind of couldn't figure out my way. And, all my previous sales roles was always to try and get creative and go without it. But here it's literally laid out in front of you. Just there's so many people that just say, follow the system, follow the scripts, do what we've done. Look at the people who've had success here and copy them, word for word, T for T. And it makes it so easy. And, all you have to do is get out of your own way half the time. And I struggle with that in the beginning. And Wendy, as much as she tells it like it is, I've never had someone tell me to stop being a big baby in the kindest way possible. At times when I just couldn't get out of my own way and kind of needed that little kick in the butt. So really helped, and I'm very much a slow burner here. So but I'm starting to see, as I'm been able to get out of my own way, wrapping my head around it, kind of the self-belief and the motivation, and just digging in and finding a system that's really working within the symmetry system. And I know, the efforts are going to be, they're going to start bearing fruit soon. I'm feeling it. And one of the great things what he does with the team is incredibly motivating, and really touches out and reaches on a personal level, and kind of really identifies, I'm seeing this, and she's such a great coach and such a great leader. To be able to follow her example is fantastic. And there's a couple things that she's sent me recently. One I watch pretty much at least once a week. It's a little Deion Sanders clip, And you people have probably seen it, some of you, where he's just keep making plays. He's doing his speech on stage. It's just keep making plays. Your numbers aren't where they want to be. Keep making plays. The spotlight's not on you. Nobody's talking about you. Keep making plays. You're not doing as good as your friend in business. Keep making plays and just keeping at it and keeping at it. And then the other one she actually just sent me yesterday. What's his name? Matt Graham, I think. And it really hit home. And I actually texted her back. I was like, did he write that to me personally? And it's like, you get up, you do everything you're supposed to do that day, and nothing happens. You get up the next day, you do everything you're supposed to do, you're putting in all the effort, and nothing happens. He's like, then one day you're going to wake up, you're going to do everything you're supposed to be doing. The stars are aligned, the luck's going to hit, and everything starts to happen. He's like, it's not luck, it's not line. You've earned that day by paying for it with all those other days. And I was just like, oh man, that hit hard. Like, that's so good. Just, so it takes time, it takes perseverance, and takes effort. And I'm just kind of been able to wrap my head around that with a lot of help and support, and looking forward to what the future can bring. So
Here you're gonna make me cry. So, but that's not hard. I mean, people think I am a strong person. I know that, but I will cry with the best of them. So again, I'm not too scared to show my emotions. So, all right, Miss Michelle, are you ready to chat?
Hi. I'm so sorry. I was like, that was so good, Terry. Now I don't know what to say. Um, so where to start? I don't know where to start. Thank you so much. I just got my 85% contract level. Dang, Wendy, know how hard I work for that. So I come from a background of just in no, not life insurance, but selling Medicare. My background when I got here in the US is working for eligibility support, if I can pronounce that right. Probably I get this right. Eligibility support for Affordable Care Act for more than 5 years. I am getting so sick and tired of the continual thing. Like, I feel like I'm not growing in the company. It's just like repetitive, for more than 5 years. I don't feel like I'm growing any further. So a friend of mine decided to tell me, hey, why don't you work for Medicare, like do Medicare Advantage plan? So I jumped on board on that. I I like how they train us with the company but that I'm in. But while I was doing that, I was recruited by another company similar to Symmetry, but completely different structure. And I was listening. I was the type of person that I say yes first before I hear whatever's going on, and I'm learning not to do that. So I when I jump in, I said, oh, sounds good. Some company, some people will tell you really good things until you get involved and you learn that it's not what you want. I don't belong in that company. So I decided to just leave the company. And I'm very, from then on, I'm very strategic, I guess I would say. I'm very picky of who I deal with or company that I wanna be in my life insurance business. And I met Wendy at Lighthouse, but Wendy was not the only SFG person that I met. I have two other SFG team that I was like talking to. And funny thing, one is from Brad Smith company and one is from Edward Pritchett. And I don't know anything. Like, to me, it's like it doesn't click. I think you'll be in this business. And being direct to Wendy, I was a lighthouse lead. I was really trying to figure out Symmetry. So that's why I ended up as a lighthouse lead, because of all the company I talked to, Symmetry makes sense to me. The others doesn't. It's just like, what? I have so many questions and they just want me to jump in right away. I was like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So Symmetry is always coming back to my head. And I met Wendy. She was talking to me, and then I'm doing my Medicare. When I met Wendy, I'm doing independent with Medicare. So I go to communities and talk to seniors. So I talked to Wendy, I asked her, do you guys do presentation or something like that? And she said, yeah, we do that kind of thing. And I said, yeah, I like this woman. I can, our values, we're both moms, stuff like that. It's just aligned. So I jumped on board with Wendy. I was so scared. I'm still scared. I'm still learning. I'm still not where I want to be, but I'm still learning. And Wendy's the type of leader that she just keep checking on me. She goes like, hey, what's going on? I'm gonna be on this call, jump in and do that. I do not actually, I really didn't have money to purchase leads, right? So I always go to networking event, and those leads that's on that my sales, those are warm leads. And I'm so scared. I always have this insecurity that my grammar is not correct. My English is not perfect. So, but this Monday I got the opportunity. I brave it out. I sent an email to the director of United Way of Southwest Oklahoma. She eventually invited to present my business in front of the partner council meeting last Monday. So I have the opportunity to be a partner with food banks, legal aid of Lawton, mobility, military source, one source, YMCA of Lawton. They are wanting me to be, YMCA of Lawton will allow me to set up my business table there to provide services once a month in their community. Food bank want me to do the same. Legal aid of Lawton would like me to have like business flyers so they can be my referral partner. And then I'll be having an opportunity to speak today with the Cameron University, our local university here, the community resource coordinator. I was thinking that will probably a good way for me to recruit some college student for part-time, I guess, life insurance lead, but I'm thinking that way, and I will be speaking to Great Plains Region AMBAX on April 8th. So that's
you see, Michelle is doing amazing things, like so many amazing things. I tell her every day, and I don't think she believes me, but it's the truth. She could teach me a lot about networking. It is something so out of my comfort zone. And a little funny story is that, when we first met, I was explaining an IUL to her. I thought she wanted to buy an IUL. I thought that's what she was interested in. And she finally was like, oh yeah, I'm a licensed agent. And I looked at her and I said, well, why won't you write your own policy then? Why would you not write your own policy? And she's like, well, I don't know much about it. And, we just went on. And that conversation started, I think, in August or September. And one night I got a text message from her and she said, do you do presentations? Is Symmetry okay with that? And I was like, yeah, they are. And we had a conversation and I was like, well, why don't you just come on board with us? And she said, well, that's what I was trying to get you to ask me. But I didn't want to push that on her. But the thing is that she does lack a little belief in herself. And I'm like, you can take my belief in you all day long, because as long as you keep moving forward, you're going to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So, it's so hard. Life is hard, right? And this business is hard. And my entire life, as parents, we often think that maybe we do this wrong or do that wrong. My parents were super young when they had me. And they've made a lot of mistakes. We all make mistakes. But the one thing that stuck true to me is that if you want something in life, you have to work for it. No one's going to come and save you. No one is going to come do it for you. I mean, those are fairy tales. Fairy tales are not real, right? And so I've never shied away from hard work. And it's the one thing, when I was doing physical therapy full time, I thought it meant something. I thought I wore that with a badge of honor. If they needed me to take extra patients, I would take extra patients. And sure, I made more money when I saw more patients, but I thought it meant something. And I soon found out that it didn't mean anything to those people. I was just another number. They were just using me as a resource to get work done for them and to make them money. And it just kept going on and on and on, to the point where it just broke me down. And let me paint this picture for you. Through personal development, we all hear about manifestation, affirmations, and, it just seems kind of hokey pokey, right? 5 years ago, I would drive to work every day, and I would envision myself speaking to people, possibly impacting people. I did not know what that was. I did not know what that looked like. It made zero sense to me. I was a very good student. Obviously, I have a few degrees, not that they matter anymore because I'm not using them. But I hated public speaking. I did never want to be in front of anybody talking. And here I am talking to people. And I might impact you, I might not. But it's so funny. If you put something out there, what can happen for yourselves? I mean, it really is. And I know my kids think I'm crazy, because Kay and I are reading The Confident Mind right now. And every doorway we walk through, we say the affirmation that we want. So I know Malachi the other day told Ryan, he's like, Mommy's been walking through all the doorways saying that she's an elite producer. What does that mean? Why does she keep saying that? I'm like, because I'm an elite producer, okay? It hasn't happened yet, but it will because I'm putting it out there. I'm an elite producer. And it's, it is. You just have to put it out there. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to do it. It's the number one thing I tell my son every day and my daughter. If you do not believe in yourself, it don't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what your daddy thinks. It does not matter if you don't believe it, because that's where it has to start. It has to start between your two ears. And when you spend the day thinking about the negative, it's a snowball. That's what I told Ryan. I said, Ryan, this stresses me out and then this does. And before I know it, I have wound myself up into this huge snowball that's coming down a huge mountain. And it takes a lot to stop that negative in your life. It really does. So when you start to feel like that, because you're going to, you really have to be aware. You have to know the hard's going to come. You have to know the negative's going to come. And you have to have a plan prepared. You have to think, when this happens, this is what I'm going to do. The last week of February and the last, first 2 weeks of March have been really difficult for me. Processing a lot of stuff. As a mom, as a woman, we carry so much, and we feel like we have to be a certain way all the time. We feel like we have to bear the weight of the whole family sometimes. And I think it all just come into, everything just broke me down, and that's okay. Because I knew that day would come, and every day I was reading, every day I was listening to something positive. Whatever I had to do, I was doing it. It just took me 3 weeks to get out of it. Sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes 5 minutes. But when it happens, if you have goals in your life and you have a way of life you want to see your future with your family, you're going to have to put that work in. You're going to have to recognize it. You're going to have to do it. So I say it all the time that you have to take stock on what's going on in between your ears. It is the most important voice you are going to hear all day. You hear yourself more than you'll hear anybody else in your entire life. So if you're not speaking to yourself like you would speak to your best friend, if you're not being kind to yourself and giving yourself grace when you're having a bad day, then it's going to be, you're likely going to quit. That's just the matter of fact of it. You have to take care of your mind. It's the one thing that no one ever wants to talk about. And then, in conjunction with that, everybody knows I love Danny Young. He is like my favorite symmetry grandpa, and everybody should love him. But one of his sayings, and I know I'm going to say it wrong, is that a lamp doesn't work if it's not plugged in. It does not work if it's not plugged in. You have to be plugged into this business. You do. You have to show up to the meetings. You have to be present. If you allow yourself to get on an island by yourself and think you can do this by yourself, you'll quit. There's no two ways around it because it's hard. And so if you're by yourself and you're having that negative stuff, that bad little wolf on that shoulder is going to win. It is going to win the day, and you're going to change course and go back to what you were doing. So, you have to stay plugged into the business. And it is true. Like if you listen to the Pogue call earlier when Reineke was talking to Logan Moore, she gave her what she needed when she needed it. And sometimes, I have agents that have left. I've had agents I thought were going to be my people. They're not here because it got hard and left. And then I have my people who are really my people who might not be winning every day today, but they're still here and they're still plugging in because they still have some sort of belief in themselves. And it's not about coming in hot. That's always nice, but sometimes you can come in hot, you're going to burn out quick, right? So if you're putting in the work and doing what you're supposed to do, I don't think there's any reason why you can't build anything here. And I think too, everybody talks about it, but what you have to realize is that anybody that's on a national leaderboard, this leaderboard, any leaderboard that you're on, you don't see the wounds, you don't see the tears, you don't see the nights being up late, scared. You don't see any of that. All you see is the glitz and the glamour. But I'm going to tell you, it's like I was talking to Terry and Michelle earlier, the story of why can't I think of that? What tree was I talking about earlier?
The
Bamboo.
bamboo tree.
Bamboo, thank you, golly, my brain. A bamboo tree grows for like 5 years under the soil before it even shoots up. True, this is a true story. Its roots grow deep before you even see anything pop out of the ground. And when you see it pop out of the ground, like it grows like 20 feet, just like this. Like you can cut it down and it's coming right back up because their roots are deep, because they've put the work in. And that's what it takes. It takes hard and it takes belief. And if you're not where you want to be, like Dion says, keep making plays, keep showing up. You need to be on calls. You need to be listening to calls in your spare time. You need to be practicing your script. You need to be dialing. Michelle worries about her grammar. Lee Jedlika's fourth language is English. Fourth language is English. And he writes a minimum of 10,000 every week. So you have to choose your hard. You have to choose what excuses you're going to allow to tell yourself. And only you can choose what you want in life. And if you think anybody on a leaderboard or anybody that looks like they're winning, if you think they've not struggled, you couldn't be further from the truth. And I am here to tell you that I shed a lot of tears. Some are good, some are sad, some are scared, but I am here because I told my kids we were going to do this. And even though Ryan told me I was crazy, you're going to quit, I'm not quitting. And Dion also always says this, you can have a bad minute, you can have a bad hour, but you do not have a bad day or a bad year. You choose if you want to keep that bad. So only you can change what you want and grow into who you want to be. And one day, I'm going to look back and be like, you know what? I'm a really nice diamond because all this hard has made me a really nice diamond. And that is only going to be something that I can help other people, because helping people is what I've always loved doing in healthcare. And now I get to do it in a different way. And in doing so, I get to build wonderful children. So, and that is priceless to me, the personal growth and what it's done for my relationship with my husband and my 2 children, the 3 people that I go so hard for all the time. So I think that's about it.
Man, just pure gold, Wendy Cox. Just My goodness, I'm just so proud of you, and I think everybody on this call can see your heart and your spirit, and just exactly, what I mean by being wired the right way and having the right perspectives. And I think the important thing to note, and you said it, is that the Wendy Cox you're seeing on this call right now, and you're hearing her speak, that was not the same Wendy Cox from a year ago or a year and a half ago, or even a couple of months ago, maybe, as far as, focus and intentionality and resolve and grit, so those of you who are on the call who are thinking, hey, there's no way I could be like that. I'm not that strong. I don't have that same kind of perspective. You can. You might not have it now, but you can grow into that. And that should be all of our endeavor, is to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be, right? In life, in general, at everything that we do. And it's not going to be easy. You have to understand that adversity and growth are the gatekeepers to success. Some people think that failure is the opposite of success, when in fact it's part of it. I put that post on Crew yesterday, I think it was, or the day before. It's you knowing that you're going to go through challenges and difficulties and adversities, and how you're going to let it strengthen you for your purpose, for the destiny that you are meant for, right? And God has a plan for all of us and what we want to accomplish in life. And I've said this many times, that sometimes when people have difficulties and setbacks and challenges, they think it's because they're doing something wrong. What if it's because you're doing something right? It's meant to mold you for your destiny and your purpose. So embrace the struggle. And everyone here is going to tell you that they've gone through it. And you can't be robbed of that struggle, because inevitably everyone's going to go through it. And how are you going to be able to tell your people or your mentees, if you're trying to grow a team and organization, how to go through something you never went through? You can't, right? So I know we've only got a couple of minutes and such. Wendy, just such incredible content and great perspectives, and just love you, ma'am, more than you know, and just so proud of you. Thoughts and prayers for sure for Ryan. We're so glad you got some good news. We're looking forward to seeing you at the Leadership Summit here in a couple of weeks for sure. And just amazing call, man. We appreciate you, and great job to you and your team. Thank you all for jumping on. We'll adjourn here. Just a quick reminder that we have Brian Loredon in the main tank, and then Wendy's going to be live dialing right after that. Remember that Monday we have the White Glove Lighthouse lead meeting, and Monday at 4. We'll get the graphic out on Monday with the meeting ID and such like that. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Wendy, awesome job, man. Keep the gas on. So much more to come for you, man. Love it. Have a great Friday. Have a happy Easter.